It is overtime here again at Old Favorite Friday, talking about incredible classic beers. And we're going to give a little bit of love to a brewery in our home state of Florida, and that is Green Bench Brewing and their Sunshine City IPA. Now, Green Bench is only been around, I believe, since 2013. And a lot of times we talk about incredible classic beers, we're talking about breweries from the 80s, the 90s, even the 1600s, for crying out loud. But this brewery is really a benchmark in a lot of ways for really excellently brewed beer in Florida. And this beer in particular, from my research, they brought it out the first time in 2015. That's like information you pull off of, like, ChatGPT and Google. So I'm not exactly sure when this beer was first released, but I'm pretty confident it's been around for about 10 years now, if not from the inception of the brewery. And I have been so impressed with everything that Green Bench has done. In fact, I did a Old Favorite Friday feature on their Fest beer, which was absolutely not 10 years old when I did it, but I was so impressed by the beer and loved it so much, I just wanted to talk about it. And I think that as there's so many great breweries in Florida, I don't know if there's anyone as consistently excellent and high quality and producing high quality beers as Green Bench. There's ones that do it as well, but I don't know if there's anyone that does it better. From their postcard pills, Bench Life, this beer right here, they've got a great double IPA, I believe it's called Skyline. Actually, could be off on that one. I've only had it a couple times. And then they have a great Wild Ale program. They have a great event called Food for Thought. Just a really, really great brewery over in St. Pete. And this is the beer that's most available in my neck of the woods. It's strangely enough in Florida, we don't even get all their beers all the time over here because the way the state's split up. But Sunshine City is available here. You can find a lot of grocery stores, places like that. And it is just an excellent IPA. It's an IPA I feel like is almost like made for me. And the fact that it has a very old school like bones. You have a malt balance here. It adds a little bit of caramel to it. It's not just all hops and like neutral malts. You have hints of that old school kind of resinous character and citrus. But then you bring in all this new school like peach and pineapple. I mean, peach is like the major flavor that I get off of this. And for a beer that is about 10 years old, and yes, hazies have been around, I believe, since that long, but it's a bridge in the fact that it's not trying to just be one thing. It's not just trying to be tropical fruit, one note. I feel like a lot of breweries these days are like, oh, I can make an IPA taste just like fruit juice, or I can make an IPA just taste like pineapple, or I can make an IPA taste just like peach or strawberry. And those can be fun, but they get a little monotonous. They're not the kind of beers that I want to go back to on a regular basis and pick up at my local grocery store. I want to pick up a beer that's complex and interesting and brings in green hop flavors that have made me fall in love with IPAs 20 years ago and introduce them, but still bring in those tropical fruit notes and those interesting stone fruit notes, because that's what we want to do. We want to create complexity and interest, not just making to go back to that. Making something taste like that is really just using a lot of that one hop and getting a thiolized yeast strain, and then you have that thing. It is much more difficult to balance those flavors so not one dominates over the other, and every time you go back in, you taste a little bit something different. And also, I probably beat this horse to death over the years, but the malt flavor, having an IPA that is not just neutral malts, that really rounds out the flavor, adds a little bit of malt sweetness to balance up the bitterness. This is not like that typical, as much as it has some of those bones, as I said, it's not a typical West Coast IPA that's just so bitter and we're trying to get to 150 IBUs. It's got the right amount of bitterness to balance out the malt. It's got those really interesting, complex hop flavors and aromas. And it's incredibly drinkable. This is the kind of beer that you're going to want to go back to. We, of course, live in Florida. It's hot pretty much year round over here. So this is refreshing, it's crisp, and because it has all these interesting stone fruit notes and citrus and things of that nature, it's going to pair really, really well with food. Whereas sometimes with IPAs, you get into this thing where it's like, oh, I can pair it with spicy foods or fried foods, and that's kind of it, because the flavors are kind of one note. But because it has the rounded flavors here, I think it's going to pair with a lot of different foods a little bit better. Yeah, this is fantastic. I really hope, I know some people that watch these videos are from around the country, and I don't know what Green Bench's distribution footprint is. So you might not be able to get this beer. I'd like to do beers internationally available in grocery stores and things of that nature because I want it to be very universal. But I would just be doing a great disservice to not talk about a great brewery in my home state that is just consistently churning out incredible beers, really, really well made. And I've been waiting for this for a while to make sure it was 10 years old because I wanted to follow my own rules. And now I get a chance to talk about it. If you are a Floridian, you get a chance to pick this beer up, just go do it. It's just a fantastic beer that what I believe IPAs, the natural evolution of an IPA is to add new and interesting flavor compounds while staying true to its old school roots. And there's few IPAs that do it better than this. Getting back to the food aspect of things, if we're looking at a couple things that would go well with this, jerk chicken, really, really well, especially if you're doing like a mango or a pineapple salsa, something on there to accentuate those fruit flavors. But it's going to go well with the spice. Just all those flavors are going to meld really well together. I also, for lunch today, had a chicken tortilla soup, which with it was like heavily spiced, a lot of habanero and stuff in there. The saltiness that comes out from like the tortilla strips and things of that nature. I think that would go really well together as well. In fact, I'll probably have the same thing. I made it at home, so I'll probably have the same thing tomorrow. I'll save a can here for that and try it together, and I think it's going to be dynamite. But tons of things you can do with this. This is not too dominant or too big or too bitter to like overwhelm even a ceviche with a little bit of that spice to it. So there's just a lot of versatility you can find with a great beer by a great brewery. And just finally happy to talk about Green Bench again because, as you can see, I'm a big fan. Thank you guys, as always, for joining me. Please give us some likes and subscribes and all that fun stuff. And we always like to hear if you love this beer as much as we do, or other beers that you really, really appreciate, Old Favorite Friday style. We always love hearing that kind of feedback, I should say. And I guess we'll see you next time on Old Favorite Friday. Cheers.